Jujutsu Kaisen's most recent episode has finally adapted one of the most iconic scenes from the manga, and with that has also concluded the last major fight of the entire season. As there's gonna be some smaller action scenes later on, but there's no more massive fights after this. And boy, was it a great episode. I will say it's definitely not a perfect episode and definitely not as well constructed as the last two episodes. Episode 19 being very largely polished from start to finish, and episode 20 being so well constructed that you can make a reasonable argument it's up there with episodes like Kazuto Arise episode 13. Is that an exaggeration? In any case, this episode doesn't quite measure up to those. However, at its best, there's still some incredible stuff that goes on in this episode, and the big moment is one of the most impressive cuts in the entire show. This will likely be the last time I do an episode talk for Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'll do an overview of the entire season when the season is over. With that being said, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. To start off, the episode director and storyboard artist for this episode is somebody by the name of Tetsuya Akutsu. I'm not really familiar with this person's name, however, I have seen one of their works being Nier Automata episode 4, an episode that was rather dynamic when it came to some of its fight scenes, and that is important for this episode. The episode has a fair amount of these dynamic scenes through it, often accompanied with 3D backgrounds to allow for these really nice complex rotation shots, some of which straight up reminded me of Ufotable kind of anime. The beginning offers some really nice input from the animation director, giving us some incredibly nice drawings, and I love these really nice Jujutsu Kaisen wide shots with the action choreography. Furthermore, this running scene from Mahito is very similar to this pain running cycle. I don't know if anyone got that feeling. But up next is something that I really like that is taking place in the episode. These brushstroke abstract illustrations of what's going on in the scene is a really nice delivery that I never thought I needed in Jujutsu Kaisen. This cut was done by Gosu, and what an amazing cut. An incredible run cycle with amazing depth to it. It really captures the amount of space that the characters are fighting on. Really nice stuff. B.S. Kim also has some really nice well-timed action. I love the action lines that go along with Mahito's movements. The smoke effects are really nice, coupled with the very dynamic animation. Next notable scene I really want to talk about is Takafumi Mitani's animation. They could have done what they did with episode 7 and just reuse Mahito's domain expansion, but no, they wanted to draw this incredibly difficult to draw domain from scratch, ridiculous amount of hands, which is already difficult to draw, and this is where we get what I was talking about with the incredibly dynamic motion just because of the 3D backgrounds. This is where we have another one of those brushstroke like sequences that is obviously a very clever depiction of what's going on. I specifically love this short shot of past era Sukuna, really nice. We come up on the delusion scene. We do get some solid cuts in here. It's nothing too crazy, but definitely very funny, and apparently there was some input from Kosuke Kato. Skipping over, if there's anything I really don't like in this episode, it's the Mahito transformation sequence. The way it was directed, it has no build-up. It just kind of happens. Next notable scene that I really want to talk about is the Watanabe scene. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and for obvious reasons, because it is his weakest cut on the entire show. It doesn't have nearly the same level of flow that you would normally see in a Watanabe scene. Furthermore, it kind of seems like one of the scenes repeat on itself, and the fact that the overall drawing quality is just not nearly what you'd see on a normal Watanabe scene. I don't really want to knock on this scene too hard though, because it's obvious why these things happen. It's not even necessarily the Watanabe scene that I had the most problem with either. Around this portion, a lot of the action was a lot more stiff, and like I said already, definitely not up to the stuff we were seeing in the previous two episodes. But hey, that's just what happens when you have a rush schedule. You get rushed work. I will say this cut is nice because Hayato Kurosaki smoke. Don't need to elaborate, Hayato Kurosaki smoke. This little scene right here is something from a manga reader perspective this time. I hate how they took out the internal monologue from Mahito here. It does give context on why he does certain plays in the fight, and to the person who hasn't read the manga, they'd be wondering why did he undo his transformation here. That, and accompanied by a lot of those, once again, slower, more stiff action scenes, a lot more weaker drawings to go with them. But then you have things bump up to 11 with both the OST and the animation, with Kaito Tomioka's Black Flash. An incredible Black Flash, arguably the best animated Black Flash in the entire show, filled with so much energy, incredible drawings, the thick outlines on the characters, the action lines, just the sheer quantity of elements on screen with that incredible tornado effects animation that goes on the screen. Absolutely incredible. Drawings corrected by Sota Yamazaki are so incredible. I feel like this man needs his own video because of just how versatile he is. And the I am you scene that takes place for the rest of the episode was just incredible. I love the character acting and the running animations on Mahito, and the occasional smears you'd see on his hands, and I obviously love how they extended it from the source material. That is pretty much all I wanted to talk about from the episode. I know I skipped around a lot of portions of the episode. I never really knew how to address this video properly, because it did have a lot of really good highlights throughout the episode, but it also had a lot of things I didn't like that I didn't really feel like mentioning, such as the inconsistent characters, the ugly backgrounds I don't like, and I only briefly touched on the rather stiff action scenes at some points. It's not a bad episode by any means. I said it in my community post that it's a good episode, and if you put this episode next to a lot of season 1 fights, it does hold up pretty well. It's a great send-off. It's just a little bit sad that, you know, the entire fight couldn't have looked like some of the highlights of the episode. Jujutsu Kaisen episode breakdowns likely won't happen anymore. I'll do an overview of the entire season, and I'll also do a season 1 to season 2 comparison when the entire season is done. But I feel like the last 2 episodes won't be anything worth talking about. The action is pretty much done, and we've already seen the best the show has to offer from season 2. Now, hopefully I can get this video out before they start talking about stuff from Jump Festa, because they're probably going to announce Chainsaw Man, which, if you're seeing this in the future and Jump Festa has already passed, and you come from TikTok, I did call months ago that they would announce Chainsaw Man at Jump Festa when Jujutsu Kaisen was almost done. So if I got that right, you definitely have to like and subscribe. If I didn't get that right, I don't know. That's all from me today. Let me know what you guys think about the most recent episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm Debunked by Aaron, and I'm signing out.